Hi there, this is David, and welcome to the best of RPGs of 2022. I'm going to be helped present these awards for my little doggy Kupo, who I got this year as well. So we're all celebrating all sorts of cool stuff. Welcome into my home, everyone. We have had some great games this year, and we have all sorts of different categories that we're going to be looking at here as we recognize these games. I do love giving credit where credit is due, and these all deserve as much credit as I can give them. So with a little help from my puppy here, let's go ahead and get this party started. Number 10, the biggest surprise, Harvestella.
I must say, this game just kind of came out of nowhere. When it was first announced, I was like, whatever. Yet another Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, Rune Factory clone. But the more that I learned about it, the more I loved it, especially after the demo came out. It just became an immediate day one purchase for me, and I could not put it down from sunup to sundown. Playing much more like Secret of Mana, rather than anything resembling Harvest Moon, this is a keeper. Now, don't get me wrong, farming and crafting are definitely there, but that's not the focus. Instead, the real focus is on exploring beautiful, seasonally themed environments, getting to know all the quirky inhabitants of the world, and experimenting with, and of course, kicking ass with, all the different jobs available to you.
Number 9, the best job system goes to Crystal Project.
Gosh, what a game this was. Sometimes word of mouth really works. I was only clued into this by a ton of YouTube comments bombarding my page, so I felt like I had to check it out, and I am glad that I did. This is a mashup of The Legend of Zelda, as well as classic turn-based Final Fantasy, where you explore open regions and fight turn-based battles, collect crystals to unlock new jobs, and go from town to town to outfit your team. I mean, really, it's actually kind of shocking that a genre twist like this hasn't been done before by like a major publisher. It's pretty much completely open world and filled to the brim with hidden secrets, super bosses, hidden jobs, and side quests, and it's just such a blast to play. Sometimes you need a team of little guys to show the big boys how it's really done.
And number 8, the best retro revival out there goes to Tactics Ogre.
Quite a few retro revivals this year, from Live Alive to Chrono Cross to this, Tactics Ogre. Square Enix is revisiting its past library, which I think is highly admirable. I just kind of wish they'd picked up better titles because, well, let's be honest here. Live Alive and Chrono Cross were dumpster fires from day one, but Tactics Ogre was always a diamond in the rough. The Chrono Cross remaster does let you kind of speed everything up so you can get through the torture quicker, and Live Alive really only polished a turd. This, though, is a whole other beast. The game has always been solid, and if you're a fan of any sort of tactical RPG, you've got to come check out the definitive version of this game. Streamlined with glorious voice acting, fine-tuned enemy AI, beautiful sprite-braced graphics, and quite the challenge.
Number 7, the best open world RPG, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
You will about the graphics, the frame rate, and the choppiness. But at the end of the day, this game delivered where it mattered most, and that is the fun factor. I haven't had this much fun with a Pokemon game in, well, ever, really. Honestly, being let loose to explore the world at your own pace is just what the doctor ordered. This is the way that Pokemon always should have been, and it's the breath of fresh air that the series so desperately needs. I mean, getting kicked out of your house to go, collect them all, has always been a series staple, so who's to say that Ash needs to follow a linear path? Many times these non-linear games will just eviscerate you if you go off the intended path, but here it didn't. I went to the first gym, then the third gym, then I went into the second gym, then I kind of piddled around at school just because I could, and I just had such a fun time seeing everything that there was to see.
The best evolution of a series is number 6, and that goes to Dragon Quest Treasures.
Okay, it's kind of a bullshit category, but whatever. It's Dragon Quest! What originally began as a monsters game has really evolved into its own thing, and it is so much the better for it. I remember back when the first one released, and it was pretty much just kind of like a hub town with random dungeons that you would warp to. But now, it's turned into an open-ended adventure, combining the best aspects of Dragon Quest Monsters and Xenoblade. But, in the best twist of all, not only can you recruit monsters and have them battle for you, but you can utilize their abilities to explore everywhere in this open-ended, non-linear action RPG. I mean, everything's a winner. Well, I kind of do wish that it was turn-based, but I guess even I can't have it all. But even so, this was worth it in the end.
Number 5. The best game that I played this year that didn't actually come out this year is The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Okay, it's kind of another bullshit category, but whatever. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past is my favorite Zelda game of all time. I just think that it does everything right. So this one, taking place in the same world, just hit all the right nostalgia notes for me, while at the same time being a spectacular game in its own right. It is not 3D, so don't have to worry about Z-targeting or breaking weapons or anything horrendous like that. Instead, it's short and to the point. Get your items, delve into the dungeons, solve puzzles, and fight off the beasties, just like in the good old days. For whatever reason, I never played this when it first came out, but I do remember seeing my boss at Pier 1 playing it on break once, and she told me about it, so I went and picked it up. Then this year, whenever I went on a trip to Europe, I thought that I'd give it a whirl, and man, am I glad that I did.
Number 4. The best strategy RPG goes to the aptly named Triangle Strategy.
Sure, it doesn't surprise anybody watching right now that my favorite strategy RPG of all time is Final Fantasy Tactics. It is the benchmark that I compare all other tactical games to. So whenever I heard that this was going to feature an adult cast of characters, along with a politically themed story, isometric tactical, challenging, and interactive battles, all in that glorious HD 2D, you can bet I was in line for a day one pre-ordered copy. I do know that many people complained about the overly verbose cutscenes, but to me, I really didn't think it was all that bad. And honestly, if your only complaint about a game is that they talk too much, you're really just kind of nitpicking. If you don't like it, just skip the cutscenes. But I, for one, cannot wait for a sequel.
Number 3. The best action RPG, Star Ocean: The Divine Force.
One RPG franchise really needs a solid entry, it's Star Ocean. This legacy series has been teetering on the brink of extinction for over a decade now, and I truly felt that if Tri-Ace didn't pull out a masterpiece, then that would be the end of the series. Thankfully though, we have nothing to worry about, because this is just an amazing game. Despite being a subsidiary of Square Enix, Tri-Ace was actually allowed to go back to the basics, back to the formulas that worked, with dual protagonists, multiple planets to explore, hidden, unique characters, and super fun, fast-paced combat along with a riveting storyline. You just can't go wrong here. Star Ocean: The Second Story was just about my favorite game back on the PlayStation, and this seems to be right up there with that masterpiece.
Number 2. The best indie RPG goes to Chained Echoes.
This is without a doubt the golden era of JRPGs for me. As far as I'm concerned, they peaked there. I haven't really seen such a beautiful aesthetic ever since, and it seems like the development team agrees with me, because this takes the best of everything that I loved in the SNES era and kicks it up a notch with modern-day improvements. The open regions are gorgeous in The Secret of Mana way. The combat is turn-based, complete with a turn or engage, party swapping, overdrives, customizable weapons and armor, as well as skill trees to create your own characters the way that these want them to be. Then, there's the throwbacks, like the banquet section, scenario split, challenging bosses, and tons of secrets. This game is just chef's kiss.
And now number 1, our best RPG of the year, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I still consider the original Xenoblade to be one of the greatest games ever made. I imported that baby from Europe. I modded my Wii. Then I played it for like a week straight till I beat it. It's just a shame that the series kind of went off the rails with X and 2, but I am happy to report that 3 is a return to form. From the spellbinding storyline involving countries locked in a never-ending war, to characters who have a shelf life on their life. Each character is likable, relatable, and endearing, with hardly any annoying anime tropes, and more importantly, the world is absolutely massive, rife with hidden nooks and crannies to explore. Nowadays, I normally don't put over like 100 hours into JRPGs, but I totally made an exception for this masterpiece.
Thank you guys so much for joining me for this award video. Kupo had to go away because she was done being in my arms. But thank you all so much. This has been such a fun, full year. So many opportunities have been presented to me this year. So many good things, like that modeling contract and everything, which was kind of crazy. And then bad things like the hacking. But y'all stayed by my side, and I really do appreciate that. And here's to a great 2023. And as always, have a good day.